Before we begin today's episode, we wanted to announce that we have officially launched our Patreon, where you can find exclusive content, engage with North Coast, and get access to perks like recordings from live shows, freestyle tips and tricks, and Patreon-only episodes. Whoa, you're getting access. For top-tier patrons, we'll even have pre-order links for live events and virtual freestyle lessons. Sign me up. So visit patreon.com/North Coast Podcast and help your favorite hip-hop improv team thrive.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the North Coast Podcast, where we, North Coast, do some hip-hop improv, interview some guests and celebrities and people who we just like, and incorporate what we do, some rhyming, some hip-hop, some improvisation, and just some, getting to know you chit-chat. I'm Mel Rubin.
I'm Billy Soco.
I'm Precious Gorgeous, a.k.a. Ralf Jean-Pierre.
I'm Dr. Brett.
And on today's show, we are so excited, so honored, so humbled to have the hosts of Pod Prejudice, a Jane Austen podcast. We have Becca and Molly in the house. Introduce yourselves.
Hello, this is Becca.
This is Molly.
And this is how we talk about Jane Austen.
Yeah, that's our show intro.
Wow.
This is Becca, and I go, this is Molly.
And then we say we're here to talk about Jane Austen, which we are indeed today.
And we are here to talk about Jane Austen and also about Becca and Molly. That's
Yes.
wow.
It sounds just like the podcast. By
Yeah.
the way.
Real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have this podcast.
Yes.
I can't play dumb anymore, you guys. I know about this podcast.
How
because-
do you know about it,
So here's
Mel?
the thing, Billy. There's the things that happen when you hit a certain age. And you get what is called a romantic partner.
Wow.
She's blushing, guys.
And my romantic partner is
Becca.
Wow.
It's a different kind of podcast.
Molly and I have been dating for a year and a half.
Yeah.
A year and a half. We just
Yeah.
moved in together last week, which is huge news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've listened to your podcast. I've been on your podcast, even though I know nothing about Jane Austen.
It's true. It's true.
Well, the beauty of our podcast is that we are trying to give Jane Austen to people who might not know like how great she is.
Yeah.
So that the conceit behind it is that Molly's not read Jane Austen before,
Yeah.
and I've read all of it. So it kind of works when you come on our podcast because if you don't know anything, it just kind of adds to the aesthetic of us being like, yeah, we're bumbling through Jane Austen together.
Yeah, Mel is the common people.
I
common
feel
folk.
like we kind of have similar goals with having you both on our podcast. I feel like your audience probably doesn't know anything about like hip. I can't imagine the crossover of, maybe there is a lot of crossover, but I know you have like a lot of fans in the UK and like people who might not know what we do. So it's like a similar
I didn't know
idea.
anything about this podcast. I also don't know anything about Jane Austen, and I was like, oh, I've read a Jane Austen book, and then I realized I was thinking of Charlotte Bronte. So I'm very lost.
That happens a lot. I
Yeah,
hear.
doesn't it?
But
It
which
feels
one,
like-
though? Which book did
It
you read?
was like some book with two names, like Pride and Prejudice.
I think that you might be talking about Becca's favorite book.
Oh, that would be Emily Bronte, Wuthering.
Emily Bronte, yes. Wuthering Heights.
Of Mice and Men.
Of Mice and Men.
That's
yeah.
it, yeah.
I don't
Yes,
know. I have no
famously Red, White, and Royal Blue, also written by Charlotte Bronte.
I love that
read
book,
Wuthering
though.
Heights. Is there any relationship between those? It feels
The
like
Bronte sisters?
Well, I know the Bronte sisters. There's a relation there, but are they related as Jane Austen related to in terms of style or genre?
I think I can take this one,
Yeah,
Molly.
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
you
yeah,
worry. So,
Maybe should we say anything about Wuthering Heights in case people don't know that either? I don't even know why I read that book.
Wuthering Heights is an Emily Bronte book, and it is about two very bad people over the course of their lives falling in love in the wild north of England and also ruining everybody's lives around them. It's a great book. But it's very different in vibe from Jane Austen. So it's similar because the Brontes and Austen, they all wrote about romance, the roles of women in English society. A couple class critiques make their way in there as well. The difference would be like the Brontes are goth Jane Austen. Jane Austen's all like fun. She's kind of Oscar Wilde in her wit and her class commentary, whereas the Brontes are like And the man she fell in love with was the most hideous man who had ever existed on the planet, and yet she loved him. And Jane Austen's writing heartthrobs all up and down.
Wait. Oscar Wilde. I know a couple things about him. I went through a phase, but I'm about to ask a dumb question.
Go. No dumb questions.
Who wrote the portrait of Dorian Gray?
I think that's Oscar Wilde.
It is? Okay, because
Charlotte Wilde?
that's
Emily
pretty.
Wilde.
The girls have gone wild.
The Girls Have Gone
Is
Wild
that
would be a
Oscar Wilde?
really good
Did you write that?
like,
the Portrait of Dorian Gray?
spin-off.
Of what?
The Girls Have Gone Wild with an E. I don't know.
Oh, like
love
that would be like
that.
an Oscar Wilde burlesque show.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
The importance of being wild.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We'll never know. So wait, who wrote it?
Oscar
Dorian Gray?
Wilde.
Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
But that's like pretty goth.
Yeah, I was thinking more importance of being earnest,
Gotcha,
which
gotcha,
is
gotcha,
like
gotcha.
pretty light.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Did Emily Bronte and Jane Austen, were they contemporaries, or was this completely different times?
They're not completely different times. They're removed by a few decades, but not a hugely different amount of time. I think Jane Austen was really writing towards the very turn of the 19th century, and the Brontes sort of edge into that Victorian era. I'm going to Google that because I said that with so much confidence, but I'm going to be double sure that I got it right.
Yeah. Sometimes we say stuff on the podcast, and our listeners will write us full essays about Victorian versus Elizabethan era. Regency.
Oh, they're coming.
I got you.
I'm a big dumb dumb.
Yeah, our North Coast listeners are like huge literary heads.
Yeah.
So comments below.
Comments are gonna be
Come
wild.
kill us.
I read Bernstein Bears.
I think you mean Berenstain Bears.
Berenstain.
Berenstain.
I just want to confirm that I was correct. It's a removal of a few decades. So
1 point, Becca.
Cheers to
point,
Becca.
0 points, haters.
Gotcha.
how do you know we're
Gotcha.
not one and the same?
Oh.
Whoa.
I'm kidding. I quite love it.
Well, so I hear about Jane Austen a lot. There's a movie out. I know there's a movie coming soon. I saw recently some trailer for I think Sense and Sensibility, like a new modern
new one?
Yeah, I saw.
Or was it Emma?
No, it wasn't Emma.
Was
it
it
was
Persuasion?
Was it Pride and
maybe it was
Prejudice?
no, but I think it was Pride and Prejudice. Like recently, I saw a trailer for it.
Ooh.
You know, I did a couple like months or somewhere around a year ago. I saw something about a new Pride and Prejudice coming out, and they were like, "Why do we keep doing this?" And it was an article about why we keep doing it and whether we should stop. But I didn't think it was founded in any truth. Do you know anything about this?
No, there was drama like back in 2019 and 2020 when there was a rumor going around that they were going to do Pride and Prejudice and cast Timothy Chalamet as Darcy.
I think that's what it was. What I was
Yeah,
looking
I
at.
think that's the one. What I saw.
He's
Is
such
it
a baby.
thing?
Yeah, I think it happened already. I think it's
What?
filmed. I think it happened.
Oh,
Yeah.
was that
my
the Little Women? Maybe the new Little Women. Maybe.
Which
no,
was
I
phenomenal.
don't think so. I
Was
think
that-
it was Jane
Okay,
Austen.
Ralph has to Google because these comments are gonna come for him.
Comment below.
There
I
are
believe
us.
I just saw this trailer. Yeah.
Jane Austen fans are the most knowledgeable, but also the most nice about being knowledgeable. So our corrections do not come in the form of hate mail. They come in the form of, hey, obsessed with your podcast. Love you guys. Also, just a heads up about your characterization of the use of corsets in the Regency era. It's actually a misconception that blah, 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 blah.
It's
We're trolls, but we're nice trolls.
We're trolls, but we're nice trolls. We're trolls, but we're nice trolls. We're trolls, but we're nice trolls.
Hey, just want to give you a nod. Molly and Becca freaking love your pod, but you're wrong. Yes, your facts weren't straight. Your podcast is really great. I love it. I've showed my mom and my dad, but the knowledge that you thought you had was actually incorrect. So I'm gonna come correct and correct you on your mistake. I love you. Let's be friends.
We're trolls, but we're nice trolls. 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 Oh yeah, no comma. You know I'ma drop that comment. Oh yeah, I'ma fact check you. Watch out, I'ma say a fact and wreck you. Yeah, your whole mind started to melt. You don't know what you knew until I had spelt it out in the words and the sentences below. Ha 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 ha. Oh no, did I hit you? We're nice trolls. Oh no, but we're nice trolls. We're trolls,
but we're nice trolls.
We're trolls.
But we're nice trolls.
Well, actually, the fact that you gave seems pretty wrong and seems depraved. You said something about the Victorian era. Well, I have something that will make it all clearer. I've fact-checked and cross-checked and cross-multiplied across many skies and built a diagram plus a diorama. I just want to say that both of you have a problem.
Trolls, but we're nice trolls.
We're trolls, but we're nice trolls.
We're trolls, but we're nice trolls. Oh, we have some comments coming in.
Oh no, I see what you said there. You said that Elizabeth Bennet had red hair.
Oh.
You also got your facts in a poor set. You were wrong about corsets.
Wrong about corsets, wrong about corsets. It's a 4-set, I gotta say. No way, any day. You got that wrong. It's all okay, though. I love your podcast. It's a blast. That thing you said last.
We're trolls, but we're nice trolls. 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 And that wasn't a corset. It was
Stays.
What?
It was called Stays.
What is called? What?
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't want them to come for us. I don't want them to come for you.
I want to
They're gonna
ask,
okay,
this is a
all right.
left field question, but I want to ask, what modern music would you say would pair best with Jane Austen, and what specifically, maybe these will be the same answer, but specifically, what hip hop, if any, that you have heard, do you think would pair best with Jane Austen?
So Taylor Swift.
Really?
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
is
That was gonna be
wow.
my- I
Okay,
was gonna say that
that
too.
illuminates it for me. Okay.
Yeah, because the thing about Jane Austen is she's big into sort of light romantic fare with a little clever edge, and I feel like Taylor Swift really has that down. As far as hip hop artists go, the one that immediately jumped to mind was
50 Cent?
Post Malone.
I was going for like women because that's kind of Jane Austen's whole thing.
I feel like Cardi B has some Jane Austen
that was
energy.
actually where I was
Yeah.
headed.
I can see it.
Light romantic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I was going to say Lizzo as well.
Oh.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
That's the one.
Actually, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could definitely see
Confidence, wit, female forward.
Yeah.
confidence
Yeah.
with female forward.
Lots of room for gay stuff.
Lots of room for gay stuff.
So true.
I think the movie was Persuasion.
Oh, we
Okay.
found it. We
Yeah.
found it.
That came out in 2022.
Yes.
Is that Jane Austen?
Yes.
Yes.
But
But
you
no
haven't-
spoilers though.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Haven't read it. You know, it's hard being spoiler free on
Yeah.
something that's 200 years old.
Yeah.
But I have managed for the most part.
Actually, the most magical thing is that Molly has no memory whatsoever. So
I'm like a goldfish.
exactly. And so there have been times she's gotten huge spoilers for the books.
Yeah.
And I've been like, oh, the podcast is ruined. And then she just forgets them.
What a blessing. What a
Yeah.
blessing.
Yeah, it really is.
Jane Austen, I was introduced, I am an English major, so I read Jane Austen.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow.
Don't look it up. Don't look me up. But I was reintroduced to Jane Austen about like 6 years ago. I did improvised Jane Austen. So it was
You
an-
did
So
what?
it
Oh,
was
yeah.
improvised Jane
I
Austen.
remember that.
Yes.
I remember that show.
And so it was, so one of the things we would do, and this is a very typical improv exercise, is like genre cauldron.
Yeah.
And so
Let's
you
do it
would-
right now
Do you want to do
with
it?
everyone.
Yeah.
Oh
Let's
my
do it.
gosh. Okay.
Let's do it.
So how do you
why don't you
play?
lead it?
No,
Genre
you
cauldron.
explain the rules because Bill.
John-
Everybody will get
Let's just do it.
Okay. All right, Mel, go.
So it's pretty, I mean, there's different versions of everything.
Yeah,
But
let's
like
do it.
genre cauldron is we just start tossing, there's a cauldron in the middle, and we just start throwing out tropes of Jane Austen stories, novels, everything,
Yeah.
character types, you know. So, and that's it. That's basically it.
Great. And it's improv, so if your name is Ralph or Mel or Dr. Prick and you don't know anything about Jane Austen, you can just put it in the cauldron anyway.
Yeah, what you
Okay.
think, what you think,
What you think.
what you think is a,
Great.
is a trope.
Okay.
Okay.
All
A trope in Jane. Okay, and it
Alright.
can be like character names. It can be
Yes.
like locations.
Situations,
It can be accents.
Okay.
It can
accents,
be
yes.
clothing. Anything.
Yes.
Okay.
Lovely.
So like a tall brooding man.
yes.
Yes.
And there's like a beat to it, right?
Oh, I
Genre
understand. Oh, of course there is.
Genre
and I guess we'll give it a beat. Genre cauldron. Genre cauldron. Throw it in.
Tall brooding man.
Hey.
Hey, walking the room.
Yes.
Yes.
A British accent.
Yeah.
cleaning the house for man.
Pig testicles.
Most people are white.
Most people are rich.
Most people are straight.
Most people are people.
Mr. Darcy.
Yes. Sad in the rain.
Yes.
Oh, good one.
Insulting proposals.
Yep.
A lot of sisters.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Empire waist dresses. Oh.
Somebody being pressured to get married.
Oh, yes.
Our father not understanding.
Landscaping.
Horses.
A lot of people laughing like this.
Gossip.
Repressing emotions.
Oh.
Jovial white women. You know what I mean, though?
No, you're right. You're right.
Old people. That's what I meant.
That's it.
And that's the
Oh, that's fun.
That's all totally correct.
Yeah.
You did
Now we
great.
learned a little bit.
Yeah.
So your podcast, I don't know if we fully explained what it was, and I'll let you explain the general premise. And you're in season 3 right now, so feel free for new listeners to explain what the previous 2 seasons were as well. And yeah, we just want to hear about it.
Yeah, well, as previously mentioned, I've never read Jane Austen, although now I've read 2 3/4 books by her. And the first season kind of was birthed because we were having a little wine night.
So to rewind, Molly and I have been friends since college.
Yes. 10 years.
Yes.
10 years.
Hey, you've made tenure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You made your friendship tenure. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I lived in I just hit my New York tenure. I lived in New York for 10 years.
New York
10 years.
tenure.
Thank
So
you so
you
much.
moved to New York around the time that Molly and I met at a college party, and she came up to me and she was like, "I heard you're great."
I did. I had heard that she
Yeah.
was great because she was abroad my first semester of college, and everyone was like, "You're gonna love Becca," and I was like, Well, now we have to."
Destined for
I
it. Here we
I
are.
got out of the train at Penn Station and to New York City. I said, "I heard you're great," as well. So it was similar timeline for both of
3
us.
bags, $2.
What's that from?
I don't know.
I mean, that's in 30 Rock.
Memory checks out.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you met at a party.
Yeah, so fast forward to years later, I'm in law school. Molly is moving to New York, and we're both really feeling creatively unsatisfied. And we were like, we should just do a podcast, but we don't want to just do a podcast without thinking about what we want to do with that podcast. And we brainstormed a couple different ways to go about it. We're both big readers, despite the fact that neither of us is an English major in college.
Billy.
Don't look it up.
So then we decided to do Jane Austen because Molly mentioned to me she'd never read any of her work or seen any of the film adaptations. And I was like, oh, there is something there. And so we read through the Jane Austen canon together with me sort of guiding Molly in terms of themes and plot devices. I guide Molly sometimes to guess what's going to happen, and it can lead to her guessing exactly what's going to happen or sometimes completely missing the mark.
Yeah, and I'm really certain about something happening in Emma right now, and I'm not sure if I'm very misguided or right on the nose because to me it's very obvious. But
I will neither confirm nor deny.
Right, that's her catchphrase. So the first season was Pride and Prejudice. The second season was Sense and Sensibility. And when we finish the books, we do the movie adaptations / TV shows and other books that are kind of based on the books and have guests on for those episodes. So yeah.
Can I ask a question? What is your? Maybe you've discussed this on the show already, but so go listen. But what is your favorite adaptation or movie that was inspired by a Jane Austen
Molly's
story?
going to say the 2005 Pride and Prejudice because she asked me to watch it for 9 months and then I finally did.
Actually,
Listen,
it's not going to be
That's
that.
that's not my favorite. I just thought that's the one that you would like the best. That's so thoughtful.
I'm moving out.
It's been 6 days.
I made her watch it on an airplane.
That's true. All right. Okay. So what is this? That's a great question.
Out of
Billy.
all of that, can I do per book?
Yeah,
Adaptation?
sure. Whatever you like.
I
Per
think
book or per
per.
So you've done Pride and Prejudice, Sense and
Sense and
Sensibility, and now you're doing
Yeah,
Emma.
but
Yeah.
I haven't seen any
Right.
Emma adaptations.
Right.
So,
So when you say if I'm choosing between all books, it's between 2 books.
My favorite Pride and Prejudice is probably the 1995 miniseries.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Lizzie Bennet
I
Diaries.
forgot about that! The Lizzie Bennett Diaries.
Oh.
Sorry to
What's
the audio
Lizzie Bennett Diaries?
So it's a YouTube series that was done about 10 years ago now.
The day we met.
Yes, the day we met.
The day you got to New York.
Exactly.
I've heard you're great.
If you love the YouTube aesthetic from that era, it is an adaptation of Pride and Prejudice done in the style of that YouTube aesthetic. So Lizzie has a vlog, and you see her sisters on the vlog. You meet all the characters, and she does impressions of all of them, and it's all scripted and everything, and it's all acted, but it's really well done, and you can tell the people who wrote it really like Pride and Prejudice.
It was written by Hank Green, and did John help?
I don't think John
Aren't
helped.
those the professor guys who used to be on TV? Or
Yeah, the
literature
Vlog
guys?
Brothers.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what you were talking about, but they're the Vlog
they used
Brothers.
to do I don't know what they used to talk about, but they used to talk about stuff on YouTube.
They did.
And it's told through 110 3-minute episodes. So it's very palatable in short bursts, although I did binge all of it in 3 days.
Yeah.
Well, because you had her as a guest on your podcast.
Yes, we had Lizzie Bennett from the Lizzie Bennett Diaries as a guest on our podcast.
Yeah.
She's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
She's so lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Pride and Prejudice, and then second only to that would be the 1995 Colin Firth adaptation. With
So
Jennifer
to
Connelly.
give context, Mel, she doesn't want you to have to watch that one because it's 6 hours long. Yeah.
I don't think
it's
you
a
would
TV
do it.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can barely stay awake through 2 hours.
Here we go, everybody. It's true.
I had to
I'm
get you on an
asleep.
airplane where you had no escape.
It's true. Although I loved Fire Island, which was a sneaky Pride and Prejudice adaptation.
Very good one,
I mean, not
yeah.
sneaky, but I guess
Fire Island.
Fire Island on Hulu. Bowen Yang, Matt Rogers.
yeah.
It's like a queer. It's a
Yes.
Pride and Prejudice.
Yes.
Yeah, a Pride-ified Pride and Prejudice. It's
Brilliant.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite adaptation of any Jane Austen is Forever and Always the 1995 adaptation of Sense and Sensibility with Emma Thompson and Kate Winslet and my emotional support Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I think for that
And
one.
Hugh Grant.
I
Rest
mean,
in
yes.
peace. Rest
Rest
in
in
peace. Hugh Grant.
Wait, and then the other one.
The other one is great.
He's in. I'm sorry. Wait, who's Blue Eyes? The pretty one.
Dan Stevens?
Yeah. What's he in?
Oh, I
Isn't
saw
that-
that.
Yeah,
Sense and
that's
Sensibility.
that's the-
2008?
Yeah, it's
All right,
2008.
so my favorite Sense and Sensibility adaptation is controversially the 2008 Sense and Sensibility with Dan Stevens, a dreamboat who made me like that character.
He's very handsome.
This is we're getting.
Who's the other the actors in
They're not very well known.
Oh.
Oh, except for Dominic Cooper.
He plays Willoughby in
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Isn't Clueless a Jane Austen?
Okay.
Yes, it's an
That's
Emma.
my favorite one.
Is that
It's-
Emma?
Yeah,
it's Emma. So no spoilers. I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen Clueless?
I think I did in summer camp when I was 11.
That's
Goldfish.
okay. Maybe I might, because I was sitting here this whole time thinking this is not for me. But Clueless, I think, is a perfect movie.
I can't
agree.
wait to watch it.
Like, there's one part of Clueless that I'm not fond of without giving spoilers to Molly on it, and it has to do with the relationship between the two main characters and there's an underlying quirk to how that relationship is described that I think is a little weird, but that's okay because the rest of the movie is flawless. So
Yeah. I love that. Okay, so I know a little bit about Jane Austen. That's good to know.
Yeah, I feel like the thing that's so good about adaptations like Clueless or like Fire Island is that a lot of people watch them, love them, and don't realize that they're adaptations of Jane Austen. So then they have that reaction, which is like, oh, maybe Jane Austen is cool because I didn't know I loved this thing that is based on it.
Yep.
yeah, and Clueless is a weirdly faithful adaptation as well.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. There's the most important aspect of Emma as a book is that she is a spoiled brat who needs to learn lessons, and I feel like Clueless does that perfectly without making you hate her.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You love her the whole time.
Exactly.
So you've read 2 books.
Yeah.
I have also read 2 books.
Totally.
In general, no.
Yes, 2.
Well, of the 2 Jane Austen books, do you have like a favorite character?
Ooh.
Do you want to go first or shall I?
I think it's gonna be the same.
Who
No, I don't know.
Do at the same time.
Oh,
Same time.
Okay.
3, 2,
2,
1.
1.
Colonel
Knightley.
Brandon. Oh no! Oh my god, I forgot about Knightley.
Yeah.
Because we're reading
Okay.
it right now.
You're off the podcast.
Colonel Brandon
Not
is pretty
anymore.
great.
Don't
too.
look it up.
Colonel Brandon is like a better person sometimes than Knightley, but Knightley's also hot.
Yeah,
so
here's the thing. Okay, so but he said out of the 2 that we've read
That's
in
true,
total,
that's
and
true.
Knightley's in the one we're reading currently, and he might be my favorite over Colonel Brandon. But I do have a picture of Colonel Brandon on our refrigerator.
A picture
A picture.
Colonel,
Yeah, well,
of words.
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Colonel Brandon. This is what book is Colonel?
Sense and
Sense and
Sensibility.
Sensibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What? Alan Rickman. That's Snape.
Yeah.
Yep. Great.
But like,
Snape. Harry
Snape.
Potter.
Yeah.
Snape.
but picture it's
Severus
like
Snape.
the angst of Snape, but all of the bullying and the problematic behavior is gone.
So
and
he's just sad.
He's just sad, but very kind to everybody. That's Colonel Brandon as a
Yeah.
character.
Sad and kind.
Yeah.
Sad and kind. Like him already.
Yeah. He has
resonates.
trauma.
Yeah. Well, who
Yeah.
doesn't?
Oh.
So true.
True.
Dr.
True.
Brick doesn't.
Dr. Brick has no trauma.
Also, like
Here.
most
Famously,
Jane Austen characters
here,
don't really
man.
have trauma.
I feel like Emma's the first one to have no trauma.
She has no trauma. Like there are no problems in her life.
yeah.
No trauma. No
No
trauma.
trauma. No 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 drama. No mama. Do I have a mom and dad? I think so, but I'm not sad. Oh yes, I do my own thing without a thinking. I do my own thing. My life is always good, not sinking, and I'm on the brinking. Yes, I'm doing my thing. I love everything, and then every day I like to sing. No trauma, no trauma, no trauma, no trauma, no trauma.
No trauma, no trauma, no matter who you are. No trauma, no trauma. I am not emotionally scarred from my childhood. I got nothing. Everything was great. I liked the information I was fed and the food I ate. It was all success. It was all so good. I loved it all. Nothing was wrong. Nope. I loved everything I listened to. Heard nothing but great songs. Yeah, I have nothing weird from my childhood. No random exes. And nope, I never saw my parents having sex.
No trauma,
No trauma, no trauma, no trauma, no trauma, no trauma.
Say you love me always forever.
Never stop it. And when and everything you love and love me forever. Never stop it. But when and everything. No trauma, 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 no trauma.
Emma, she's rich. She's a bitch. She got nothing to be upset about.
Nope.
That's all.
She has fancy clothes and a lot of friends, but they don't really like her all that much. Well, they do, but but I don't, because she's kind of spoiled and she doesn't have to go through any toil. She has lots of money and a cool dad who's really nervous about everything, but she's the best life she ever had.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No trauma, no trauma, trauma, no trauma, no trauma, trauma, no trauma, no trauma, no trauma,
No, nothing. Everything's
Nothing.
great. Everything's so good. Everything's great. Are you kidding me? I don't care. You what?
That honestly might be my favorite adaptation of Emma I've ever
That was
seen.
it.
That's the whole story.
Yes.
What you guys do is hard.
Thank you. Yeah. What you guys do is hard too. Ralph and I collectively have read 4 books, so.
In general.
You guys,
All
Jane
together.
Austen is hard. So we were talking earlier, North Coast has a show called Anybody, where we do like a Hamilton style show about any other not political figure, any other famous figure in history, pop culture, whatever.
Historical.
Historical figure. I don't know if we've ever done a fictional character as our Anybody, but we were saying, we'll do dealer's choice. We thought it would be fun to like do our intro to that show, which might sound familiar for you Hamilton lovers. About either Jane Austen herself or a character from a Jane Austen book. We'll let you both deliberate, and then we would love to like anybody-fy for you.
I love that.
That person.
If we do, we should pick maybe somebody like iconic, so we don't have to like go into like the backstory of Lady Middleton for anybody.
Yeah, that would be a great.
You could give us like a side character. I mean, whatever. This is
Lady
whatever
Middleton's
you want.
the most boring character in all of literature.
She's so boring. She's killed off in multiple adaptations.
Yes.
She's so boring.
Yeah, I don't think we should do Jane Austen herself because, like, yeah.
I mean, she wrote. She went to Bath a lot.
She never married, and
she was proposed to like twice
by a weenie little 21-year-old, and she said,
what a weenie.
"I'm too cool for you." Anyway, so let's talk about.
I'm saying we'll give you guys some options.
Okay, yes. We'll vote.
So I mean, obviously there's Lizzie Bennet or Fitzwilliam Darcy.
Fitzwilliam.
Who's that, Mr. Darcy?
That's
Yes.
Mr. Darcy, and his cousin.
Fitzwilliam.
His cousin's name is Fitzwilliam.
His name is Colonel Fitzwilliam.
Colonel
So
Fitzwilliam.
it implies that Mr. Darcy's first name is his cousin's last name, and I don't understand what happens in England.
What
but
you guys do is hard. This sounds confusing.
Thank you.
All right.
So yeah, Lizzie Bennet, Mr. Darcy, or Emma, I think are
Yeah,
three
but
good
if we
ones.
did Emma, no spoilers.
Oh, maybe we shouldn't do Emma then.
Yeah, because we
Yeah.
all know what happens.
We all know what happens.
Mel
We all do.
famously knows
I
what happens
famously
at
know
the
the
end
end.
of
Yeah, I wrote it.
Emma.
I wrote the end. I said Jane. I got an idea.
You are Jane
I'm
Austen?
Jane Austen. Okay, all right. So either Mr. Darcy or Lizzie Bennet. Are
Yeah.
they both
Yeah.
from Pride and Prejudice?
Yes.
they are.
I know something about. I've heard the name Mr. Darcy.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
Mr. Darcy
Yeah.
sounds like just mysterious enough to be
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fitzwilliam sounds like an agitated kind of sweating.
Yes.
That's exactly what he does the entire book
Yeah.
too. So
Wow.
yeah.
He is an agitated sweater.
Yeah.
And when I threw into our pot earlier, tall, brooding man,
That is
Yeah.
Darcy.
also
Oh.
Mr. Darcy. So,
All right. Well,
Have
I
you
say we
seen,
pick Darcy.
yeah.
Has anybody seen Bridget Jones' Diary?
Yes.
So
I've
Colin Firth's
heard.
character is based on Mr. Darcy.
So he's a Fitzwilliam.
Yeah.
Yes.
William Darcy.
Actually,
Fitzwilliam
he's
Firth.
Will in that adaptation,
Firth
but his
is
name
what they
is
call
Will
it.
Darcy.
Yes. Oh, Bridget Jones' Diary is also a Jane Austen adaptation.
Yes, it is.
Just
Really?
yes.
Mhm.
Whoa.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Man, I'm super into Jane Austen.
Yeah.
Ralph.
All right.
Jane
so
Austen super fan.
let's go with Mr. Darcy. I think makes the most sense.
Yes,
And maybe
love
you
it.
just similarly to our Cauldron, just give us like a brain dump of some information about Mr. Darcy. I don't know. What do you guys?
Let's
his
do
what
the
we
same thing.
Yeah,
Let's
what's
do
his- what's his
beginning of
f-
life.
All right.
and-
The whole
Where
thing.
was-
All
Let's
right.
do it.
All right.
Alright.
So take
What's-
approximately
Was he like
20
born?
minutes.
Do we know like his anything
Probably
about
in
growing up for Mr. Darcy?
1793 or
A
something.
little,
1793.
yeah, like the 1780s, early 1790s.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a 90s baby, just like me.
Super,
Yeah.
yeah. Super rich.
Is in the Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Super rich.
Super rich.
Super rich.
Big older brother energy to his little sister.
Yeah.
Oh.
He has a little sister named Georgiana.
Okay, Georgiana.
And he
Little
loves
sister?
her a
Too
lot.
many syllables.
Um,
yes.
Okay.
So socially awkward that he comes off as an asshole
Okay.
all the time.
Okay.
How does that work? What is
So
that mean?
he like doesn't like to talk to people, and he says as much. His thing that really sets everyone off from him is he comes in and he's like, well, I don't like to talk to people I haven't met yet. And then Elizabeth is like, then why don't you meet some people? And he's like, I can't do that.
Right.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
like, fuck all these people at this party. And he's
Yeah.
like a little classist, which is the pride.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
Lizzie
I
ends
see.
up hating him for his
Pride.
behavior
Classism, yeah.
at that party,
Oh.
which is the prejudice. And
Oh.
then
She's prejudiced against him, but she also has too much pride to admit it.
and he's prejudiced against her for being lower class than him.
Yes.
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 Spicy.
Yeah.
The downfall of most Jane Austen heroes is their classism. I wonder what she's trying to say about that.
So he has a younger sibling named Georgiana.
Mm-hmm.
What did his parents do?
His parents are dead.
They're super. They're
When he was
the type
born,
of,
they were dead. That's sad.
His parents
his
ghost gave birth.
Of course, he's gonna be
Yeah.
brooding.
Yeah.
um his dad is so rich he doesn't have a profession.
That's
so
the goal.
he inherits all that money. His
oldest
mom
money.
is also of like sort of noble bloodline. So his aunt is this lady named the Lady Catherine de Bourgh.
You had to do it in the voice.
Oh, sorry. We do this on our pod. We call her Catherine de Bourgh.
Catherine de Bourgh.
Yep.
Okay, it's very Borat.
Yeah. Catherine de Bourgh. And she is an asshole.
Yeah.
She hates everyone who's lower class than her, and she tells Lizzie when she and Darcy are flirting that she will soil the halls of Pemberley.
Are
their
the halls
estate.
of Pemberley to be thus polluted? Is what she says.
Yes.
Okay.
Halls of Pemberley.
And she also wants her daughter, Darcy's cousin, to marry Darcy so they can wed all that money together.
makes sense.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
cousin marriage. And
There's a
Cousin
lot
love
of
and-
A lot
Yeah.
of cousin love.
A lot of
Yeah.
cousin
Cousin
love.
love.
Yeah.
They do that.
Okay.
It's the 1790s, so.
Yeah.
Darcy also has a beef. He
Yeah,
has
who loved Darcy and who hated Darcy
Yeah.
and why?
So Bingley's his best friend, and
Okay,
Bingley's
Bingley.
nice.
Bingley.
Yeah.
Chandler Bingley.
Chandler
Yes.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, Friends is actually
Based on Jane
lesser
Austen.
known adaptation of Jane Austen. Yeah.
Man,
we
I'm
could
into this.
figure out a way. We like to do these threads of like pop culture as Jane Austen characters, and that would honestly be a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
I think.
All right. We're gonna lose Molly for the rest of the podcast.
I'm
gonna be
All
thinking
she's
about it.
thinking about.
Rolodex.
But Bingley is like puppy dog energy. They're the sunshine boy and like
Goth.
goth kid best friendship trope.
Okay.
Yeah.
He loves everyone. He comes to the party. He's like, I'm ready to rage. And Darcy's like, I'm not here
Yes.
with you right now.
And his beef is with his former bestie, Wickham, who is very hot and very charming, but also a terrible person.
Sleazy.
Sleazy. And the reason they have beef is that he tried to take a bunch of money from Darcy, who was like, no, and then in revenge tried to seduce his 15-year-old little sister. So
There's pedophilia in this book as well.
Ah.
It has it
Yeah.
all.
Wickham.
Wicked Wickham.
Wicked
Yes.
Wickham.
What was the name of the aunt?
Catherine de Bourgh.
Catherine de Bourgh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Bingley is Team Darcy.
Darcy.
Wickham was, but is no longer.
Wickham hates
Big
Darcy
beef.
so
Big
much.
beef,
Yeah.
Big beef. And then
Trying
who
to
was
get with Georgiana.
Yeah, he tried to
Yeah.
get with Georgiana,
Oh,
but
that's
they.
the-
What's
that's
his
the
relationship with Georgiana?
So Wickham and Darcy grew up together. They were like brothers. Like Darcy's dad basically raised Wickham, and so he knew her since she was a baby.
No, but I'm talking about Darcy's relationship.
oh,
to Georgiana.
brother sister,
But like
best friends.
they're best friends.
Yeah, they love each other.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so they.
Darcy
okay.
and Georgiana love each
Yeah,
other?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
What
Total-
is Georgiana like?
She's super sweet.
Good at everything.
Very good at everything. A little quiet,
Great.
and super worshipy of her older brother, who saved her from a very bad situation with Wickham.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Okay.
and also
Okay.
very much thinks that he's a disaster with women and is trying to hook him up
Yeah.
with Lizzie Bennet real bad.
There's a nice
Okay.
meme of like them. They're like, oh, people say that Darcy is, or that Wickham is what is it? People say that Darcy's the hero of Jane Austen, but Georgiana was sitting there in Pemberley while he's eating his Ben and Jerry's, sobbing about Elizabeth Bennet not loving him, and she's like, "Get it together!" And like, she's the real hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, and last
yeah.
thing I should mention is
Yeah.
one of the most iconic things about the story is that first half of the book, Lizzie despises Darcy.
Okay.
He proposes to her in the most insulting way ever, and she chews him out and rips him a new asshole.
Nice.
And then they separate for a while. She kind of regrets her decision because she realizes she misjudged him, and he's still pining after her and decided to become nicer. And then they get together once he's nicer, and she's like, "I'm sorry, I misjudged you."
Yeah.
What's this
okay.
worst way? What did he propose?
Oh, he was like, "Your family's an insult, and I can't believe I'm degrading myself to lower my class status for you, but I can't stop thinking about you, so will you marry me?"
Well, he doesn't really ask either.
That's so sweet.
You will marry me.
Yeah.
I am Fitzwilliam.
Darcy.
But does he do it like on a cliff or in a?
Oh,
No,
it depends which
she-
adaptation you watch.
So you could watch the 2005 version where Tom Wambsgans plays Fitzwilliam Darcy and Keira Knightley plays Lizzie Bennet.
Hang on, who's Tom Wams?
Succession.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
was like, that's not Matthew
All right.
McFadden.
It is Matthew
Matthew
McFadden.
McFadden.
That's in the pouring rain and they're yelling at each other. But
In a
how it
gazebo.
happens in the book
Yeah.
and in the Colin Firth version is that Lizzie stays home for the day because she pretends to have a headache, but she's really mad at Darcy because, and this is like a side thing, he broke up her sister in Bingley, and then Darcy comes in and he just bursts in the room and he's like, I've struggled against this, but I can't fight it any longer. This
in
sucks
vain I have
for
struggled,
me.
it will not
Yeah.
do. He actually, so in the book, that's how it happens. In the movie, he comes in and paces back and forth silently in
for
front
like
of her
30
for
seconds.
like a full minute almost, like just silently. It's very hot.
Aw.
I mean, it's not very hot. It's like the most disastrous thing you could possibly do.
Yeah, but it's Colin Firth doing it.
It is Colin Firth doing
Sounds like
it.
a romantic.
Yeah.
All right.
Catherine de Bourgh.
Catherine de Bourgh.
Okay, but I want to know about
Yeah.
the era of this.
Okay.
Where this is.
The 17.
The
Eighteen-
book's 1810.
Oh, I see.
Teens
Yeah, he was
about.
born 17.
And
Okay.
does he die at the end of
1800s.
this?
No, he
No
marries
die.
the love of his life, and they live happily ever
Which
after.
is Lizzie.
Lizzie,
Yes.
assuming it's a
They do
spoiler
get
alert.
married. Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, we didn't say
Yeah.
that earlier.
Don't look it up.
And
Don't look it
then
up.
Pemberley is the like town or the estate?
It's
or
the house.
Pemberley.
He has a massive estate
Okay.
with really pretty grounds, and one of the reasons that Lizzie like forgives him is she sees how pretty his house is.
She's hot for landscaping.
She's hot for the land.
She
Yeah,
is.
she says, I watch a lot of HGTV, and this is doing it for me.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, cool. And it's in London, UK?
The UK.
England?
England.
England. Yeah.
In it.
In it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, great. Shall we try?
Yeah, let's try it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, listeners of the podcast, we now present to you a intro to an anybody
Yeah.
of Mr. Darcy.
Fitzwilliam Darcy.
Fitzwilliam.
How does a man born in Pemberley grow up to hate everyone he sees? He got a little sister and that's his best friend, but everybody else could get out of here, son.
Yeah, things get pretty tricky, but just stick with me. He meets a lot of freaking women, but specifically Lizzie Bennet. Yes, that is her name. And once he meets her, Darcy, well, he would never be the same.
Oh, his vision's blurred. He thinks he knows class. He tries to be romantic, but is a giant ass. When he tries to get with Lizzie, she says no thank you, leaves him in a tizzy.
Fitzwilliam Darcy. My name is Fitzwilliam Darcy. Don't invite me to your party. Fitzwilliam Darcy.
Yo, he was crazy and not romantic, but just stick with him. He had a lot of enemies from back then, one named Mr. Wickham. Yeah, he sucked, it's true. And one thing you see is that he had a best friend, and his best friend was Bingley.
Yeah, he was trying to let go of his urges, but his aunt, she was Catherine de Bourgh. She was mean, she was hateful indeed. Yeah, she tried to paint the halls of Pemberley.
Fitzwilliam Darcy.
Fitzwilliam Darcy.
My past has really scarred me.
Fitzwilliam Darcy.
Me, I'm Pemberley.
Me, I'm Bing.
Me, I'm Wickham.
And me, I'm Catherine de Bourgh.
Fitzwilliam Darcy.
Whoa!
Darcy. My first proposal was gnarly.
Fitzwilliam Darcy.
Oh my god.
That's my favorite thing that I've ever
That's
heard
the
in my
best
life.
thing I've ever heard. Thank you so much.
Oh,
I think you
thank
did
you.
a better job podcasting about Jane Austen than Molly and I ever did.
Wow.
That was so good.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
What a succinct summary of Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah. Wow. I can't wait to hear what your listeners think of that. You all get, like, Molly shows me a lot, but you get a lot of, like, really, really sweet messages from listeners. Like, you hear it from a lot of musical artists or, like, celebrities where they're like, I swear we just have the nicest fans ever. Like, they're so sweet. And I feel like you really do, like, get the nicest messages that, I don't know.
They're trolls, but they're nice
They're
trolls.
nice trolls. Exactly. Call back.
Yeah. Yeah, people are always messaging us just to be like, you're your podcast got me through a hard time, or like,
Yeah.
I just started listening to you last week and I've already listened to all 3 seasons, and now what do I
Yeah.
do? Please make more of it. They do ask us to do that a lot, and we're like, no.
can only put out so much. Yeah, we have a lot of fans who started listening to us during the COVID-19 pandemic, and
Oh, I haven't heard of it. Could you explain that?
yeah. It was
The
this thing.
COVID-19.
Get the Hamilton music back. No.
I missed the first 18.
Yeah, where was that?
And so I think a lot of people found comfort
Yeah.
in Jane Austen's work. It's very light, it's very fun, and it kind of calls back to a sort of like
simpler
aesthetic people
time.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a simpler time because
know.
of like colonialism and everything,
Totally.
but more of a fantasy of living in a world where like you're taking walks and painting things and lightly flirting over banter
And standing 6 feet apart because you can't touch
Exactly.
until you're
Oh,
married.
relatable content.
Ooh,
But-
relatable,
Yeah.
6 feet.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the other thing is we talked to a lot of other people who have podcasts like ours that cover books or other pop culture
Yeah.
stuff, and really like they'll be like, oh yeah, sometimes I'll get hate messages for my takes on things. We have not gotten really any hate message. There was one woman who was really upset with us because we were cursing on the show,
Yeah.
Wow.
but otherwise people have just really been
She said you
Nice.
sullied the halls of Pemberley.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. That was essentially what she wrote to us.
Yeah.
She was like, how dare you? And we were like, well, we put an E rating.
Yeah, she was basically like, I want to listen to this podcast about Jane Austen, but I couldn't because they cuss every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe they could make it more accessible and cut out the cussing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in Jane Austen, they're like marrying 15-year-olds and
Exactly.
doing pretty inappropriate things,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it's the language.
It's a certain sense and sensibility.
Yeah, have some pride
It's in the
your
name.
work.
Son of a-
I feel like on a personal level too, and I think as like North Coasters, we can feel something similar. But during COVID, like getting to do like virtual shows and just being together like once a week to get to still like do a creative thing together was huge. And I imagine for you both, getting to do the podcast during COVID was probably like a huge just outlet and like relief for you. So what was that experience like, and what has the podcast done for you both on like a personal level and a friendship level? And yeah.
Wow.
Well, for starters, it's really, we talk about this sometimes. It's hard to maintain your college friendships very closely. And one of the beautiful things about our podcast is it's kept me and Molly in a creative relationship with each other the way we were in college.
Yeah.
So we have not only maintained our friendship, but made it stronger since we started doing this.
Yeah.
Very nice
Yeah.
stuff.
And we did this podcast like throughout the pandemic. I remember, so we started it in 2019, just before the pandemic. And I remember the first day that we were like, we probably shouldn't record in person. We were both like in our closets using FaceTime because we didn't have Zoom yet. And we were just like, what's going to happen? But it turns out for us, it's sometimes easier to record remotely. It's easier for me to edit it remotely. Because it's 2 tracks that are separated, and I don't know, that was fun. But it also I was at home with my family, and my dad was dying, and it was just me, my mom, and my dad. My brother was in California, and to have something throughout the whole pandemic that was something good to look forward to every day, and also something for my dad to like be proud of me. It really, really kept me going throughout the pandemic. And also just to have the listeners and like feel like this huge community that we had beyond just us, and know that there were people out there listening, and that we were changing people's mindset and just giving them something happy to listen to. My dad came in one day right before he died, and he said, I want you to promise me that you're going to keep creating and you're going to keep making your podcast and keep writing, because as long as you can change one person's mind through your podcast or through the plays that you write, then you're doing something important.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. I can't really top that.
What about you, Becca?
Tell us something poignant.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, I mean, I moved a couple times while we were doing the podcast for work, and I do serious business outside of our podcast, and it's sometimes I feel like I don't get to channel who I was before I started doing really serious work and being the like creative performer I was before. And I always get to come back to that with the podcast. And it's, you know, it's a really nice place to remember, you know, what it is to create and what it is to talk about something you love with people you love. And, you know, I don't think we could have asked for a better community to build. And I don't think I could enjoy any type of performance more than I enjoy performing with you.
Oh,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
that's really sweet.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, now that you have this community that you really like help bring together across the world, it seems like. Right, when is your next convention? Have you thought about that? Like, aren't there Jane Austen?
There
like,
are Jane
conventions?
Austen. We actually.
So
Now I'm having a moment because there is a virtual Jane Austen convention happening in July that we were supposed to be part of a panel for, but they never reached out about filming it. So this is a message for you.
Look this up.
I don't remember their name, but we are talking about doing a live show.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
we've just
incredible.
started discussing that possibility.
Yeah.
Live Austen.
We just posted on our Instagram to our followers to see if we did something in New York, who would come. And we had like 500 people say they live too far away, but we had 109 say that they were close enough to come and that they would.
Wow.
So,
and that's just our Instagram audience. We have a whole
Right.
pod audience that doesn't follow us on Instagram.
right. So the majority of our listeners are not in New York, but enough of them are that
Yeah.
I think it's feasible.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, please let us know.
Yeah.
Invite
Yeah.
us.
Totally.
Go.
Absolutely. Like we need people who have like performance like experience from the last like 5 years on a stage live, because I haven't performed live in like 5 years.
I get
or
nervous
more.
in front of people now.
Yeah.
I'm a changed woman.
Shall we share our step-by-step guide on how to be a live performer with them?
Yeah.
I think now is the time. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Well-
step one?
Step 1, make sure you're wearing pants. Don't go on stage without pants. If you think there's a chance you don't have pants, go back, put on pants.
Step 2, make sure you have a belt. If you're wearing pants, get a belt. If you don't have a belt, those pants will fall. You need a belt.
Step 3, bring a parent. It's nice to have your mom in the audience sometimes. When she looks at you with those proud eyes, she says, I'm your mom, I gave birth to you. She said, I love everything that you do. And then you say, hey, that's my mom, and the audience thinks, now that's a personal touch.
Step 5, make sure you know where the stage is. Don't be afraid if you don't know where the stage is. Ask a stagehand.
Step 6, tell your mom you'll be right back. You gotta find the stage. If she gets in a rage, tell her it's okay. It's not because your age, it's just because you are mad. Because you love me so much and you're glad that I'm on stage and doing what I love. And then go give your mom a hug.
Step 7, now this step is pretty neat. The key to standing up is using your feet. You gotta stand up on stage and say hello to the audience. And they say, look at you go. I've never seen your faces in real life. I'm used to listening to you on my podcast with my wife. But now there you are. You're shorter than I expected.
Step 9, make sure that the microphone is on. If it's not on, turn it on. If it's not on, then it's wrong. How will the people hear you?
Step 10, don't forget any steps. Don't forget any steps. You gotta do every step and don't miss a single one.
Do
That's
them in
step 10.
order.
Step 8. Step 8.
Oh, what was that one? What was that one?
Catherine DeBurr.
Catherine DeBurr.
Oh, man. Thank you so much to Becca and Molly from Pod Prejudice.
Thank you for having
This has
us.
been the North Coast Podcast. What would Jane Austen call like a wild time? What a
A pleasant afternoon we've just passed.
a pleasant afternoon that just passed. If you enjoyed what you heard, please give the North Coast Podcast a follow, a subscribe, a smash that like button, leave nice comments, trolls, and follow Pod Prejudice. They have a very fun Instagram presence, and obviously subscribe to their podcast as well. And you can also find us on Patreon. We do some cool content for our patrons. So do you all. I've been in some of them where you make fun cocktails and say, "This is a fun cocktail." All right, I think that does it for us. Did I miss anything? No, Doug usually does this part. Thanks, Doug.
Thanks, Doug.
All right, we'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening.
Don't
Bye.
look him up. Don't look him up.
Don't look